Shalom, children. In our story last time, Yeshua had been killed by crucifixion at the 9th hour. This was the same time that the Pesach lambs were being slaughtered in the temple. His body had then been taken down from the cross before the Sabbath began by a disciple named Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph and Nicodemus had applied special spices to the body before wrapping Yeshua in fine linen. Joseph had then rolled a heavy stone across the entrance to the tomb. Have you ever heard it said that a mother wears lots of different hats? What do you think that means? Well, they often wear the hat of a cook, a cleaner, taxi driver. They wear the hat of teacher, entertainer, sometimes a nurse, and maybe even a hat of painter and decorator. In a similar way, Yeshua wears lots of hats. We have already heard how he wears a hat of a good shepherd, the way, the truth, the life. He wears a hat of being the door, the living water, the light, the life, HaMashiach, and the true vine. Today we are going to learn about another hat he wears. Redeemer. Have you heard that word Redeemer before? Well, imagine a person being held captive as a slave. They have no freedom and have to do what their master says. They are no longer who they used to be. Then someone comes along and pays the price required to set that captive free. The person who saves them is called their Redeemer. In the Torah, Moshe praised Yah for being their Redeemer when he brought them out of slavery in Mitzrayim. Moshe said, "You in your mercy have led forth the people whom you have redeemed. You have guided them in your strength to your holy habitation." And do you remember, children, we have learned that when we do not obey the instructions of Adonai, we too become a slave to sin. Well, Yeshua came to lead us away from slavery to sin. So that makes him our Redeemer. After Yeshua had died and the body taken to the tomb, the ruling Kohanim went to Pilate and told him they had remembered when Yeshua was alive and teaching in the temple. He had said he was going to rise from the dead after 3 days. They went on to explain how they were worried Yeshua's disciples would come, steal the body, and then tell everyone Yeshua had indeed risen from the dead. They were concerned this would cause even more trouble for them than when Yeshua was alive. So Pilate gave instructions for the Kohanim to go to the tomb and to make it as secure as possible. It was then arranged for Roman guards to be set up and watch over the area. Yeshua had been in the tomb for 3 days with the Roman guards on watch, when suddenly there was a great earthquake. A messenger of Yah descended from heaven and rolled back the stone from the entrance of the grave and sat on it. His appearance was as bright as lightning and caused the guards to become very afraid. So much so they fell onto the ground as though dead. When the men had stumbled back onto their feet, they ran away to the city to report to the ruling Kohanim what had happened. Upon hearing the news, all the elders gathered together in the hall of judgment in order to come up with a cunning plan. They were certainly getting lots of practice at being sneaky, weren't they? It was decided they would give each soldier a large bag of coins, with instructions for them to say that the disciples had come in the night time and stolen the body of Yeshua whilst they slept. The guards, who did not want to get into any more trouble than they already were, agreed to spread this lie to all the Yehudim. It was the first day of the week, that is Sunday in our time. Before the sun had risen, Miriam of Migdal went to the tomb area and saw that the stone had been rolled away. So she ran to Shimon Kipha and Yohanan, two of Yeshua's taught ones, to tell them the worrying news that the Master had been taken somewhere. Shimon and Yohanan ran to the tomb to see for themselves, and sure enough, the body of Yeshua was not there. Only the linen cloth with which he had been wrapped in remained inside the tomb. The men were confused and did not understand what all of this meant, and so went home. But Miriam returned back to the tomb. When she arrived, she sat down and wept for some time. She then decided to peer inside the tomb, where, to her surprise, she saw two messengers dressed in white, sitting where the body of Yeshua had been. They asked her, "Why are you weeping?" So she answered them, "They have taken away my master, and I do not know where he is." As she turned to leave, Miriam noticed a man stood behind her. She did not recognize him, but it was in fact Yeshua. Yes, children, that's right. Yeshua was not dead anymore, but he was now alive. You see, he had risen from the dead, just as he said he would. Yeshua said to Miriam, "Woman, why are you weeping? Who are you looking for?" Miriam thought the man speaking to her was the gardener, and so pleaded with him to tell her where he had put the body. Yeshua said, "Miriam." At once she recognized him and cried out, "Rabboni." He then told her to go and tell the taught ones that he was going to ascend up to the Father. Miriam quickly ran to where the disciples were gathered and told them Yeshua was not dead anymore, but alive. Unfortunately, they did not believe her and thought she was simply telling stories. It was still early morning on the first day of the week when women came to the tomb with extra spices to anoint the body. When they got there, they too saw that the stone had been rolled away. When they looked inside, they could not understand what was happening. Instead of Yeshua's body lying there in the tomb, two messengers of Yahweh stood wearing shining garments. The women were very afraid and bowed their faces down to the ground. The messengers said to them, "Why do you seek the living amongst the dead? Yeshua is not here, but is risen." The messengers continued, "Do you remember? He spoke to you in the Galilee, saying, 'The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and on the third day rise again.'" At once the women did remember Yeshua's words and made haste to run and tell the taught ones the wonderful news. Yeshua was dead, but now the Redeemer of Israel lives. Well, children, that is the end of our story for today. So we will see you next time for another exciting journey in the life of Yeshua. Shalom.
The very same God that spins things in orbit